Okay guys, this is concept 44. Be sure to write it on top where the topic box is and write your name. Okay. So law of cosines, just like the law of sines, the law of cosines can be used to find side lengths and angle measurements for any triangle. Okay. Underline any triangle. And then here are what the formulas are. Given triangle ABC, you have a squared being one side, okay, is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of a. Okay, I know it seems long, but there's a very easy way to remember it. Okay, when you're taking a side, okay, if that's a squared, then that's going to be equal to the sum of the other two sides squared, b squared, c squared. So if you have a again, then the other two added up here, minus 2 times the two that you did not take, so bc, times cosine of the opposite angle. So a here, angle a there. Okay, the rest follow up, they just interchange. So the second one would be b squared is equal to, so I'm using b squared, so then the other two are going to be a and c. So a squared plus c squared minus 2 times ac times the cosine of b. The last one is c squared. Since I'm using c squared, I'm going to have b squared plus a squared, okay, minus 2 times ab times the cosine of c. Okay, that's it. Here it might seem like I messed up, but it doesn't really matter, right, which one you write first, and then which you write here as well, because the product will work out the same. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, so if you have a squared plus b squared here, it still works out the same thing. So let's apply these formulas now to some examples. It says use the law of cosines to solve for x, round to the nearest tenth. All these problems here in this front page are going to be missing some side. Okay, so it doesn't really matter which one you're really using, considering the fact that you could just call the missing side a. So you're pretty much always going to be using the first one. The trick is that if you're finding this side here, make sure you're using the angle that is across from it. Okay, because a, right? So for the first one, I have x squared is equal to the sum of the other two, 12 squared plus 7 squared. And again, doesn't matter which one I take, okay, because they get squared and they get added anyway. Minus 2 times, take each one, 12 times 7 times the cosine of the opposite side you're taking, x squared here, so 65 degrees. Okay, that's it. Now you solve for x. So x squared is equal to 12 squared, that's 144 plus 49 minus 2 times 12 times 7, you're going to get 168. Okay, so 2 times 12 times 7, that's 168 times the cosine of 65. Okay, in your calculators, you can input all of this carefully. Make sure you're in degree mode. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it would look like. So I have 144 plus 49 minus 168 cosine of 65. So here's what it looks like on my end. Okay, that's exactly, let me see, how can I fit all of this here? Right, if you guys can see that, that's exactly what we have there. Okay, you're going to hit enter, and you're going to get 122.000 something. So x squared, if you round right to the nearest 10th, you're going to get x squared is equal to 122.0, let's say 00, just to show the reader that we're rounding right, and we got 122. From here, you're going to take the square root of both sides, right? Because you're solving for just x. They cancel out there, so you get x is equal to the square root of 122. The square root of 122 is 11.04, and if you round, it's just 11.0. So x is equal to 11.0. And that's it. That's all there is to law of cosines. Okay, let's do the next one. So I'm finding x. So x squared is equal to the square sum of the other two. So 20 squared plus 25 squared minus 2 times the other two, well, product, right? 20 times 25, 2 times 20 times 25, times the cosine of the angle that is opposite to the side you're finding, so 108. Okay, x squared is equal to 400 plus 25 squared, you're going to get 625, minus 2 times 20 times 25, you're going to get 1000. Cosine of 108. Here's what you put in your calculator, okay, just like I did in the previous example. And when you do that, you're going to get x squared is equal to 134.02, and then you take the square root of both sides, and you get x is equal to, rounding to the nearest tenth, 36.5. Okay. The next one, so here's this side, here's the angle across from it, so I have x squared. X squared is equal to the square of the other two added together, 13 squared plus 17 squared, minus 2 times, now the product of those two, 13 times 17, times the cosine of 34 degrees. So you get x squared is equal to 169 plus 17 squared, you get 289, minus 2 times 13 times 17, you're going to get 442 times the cosine of 34 degrees. Here's what you input in your calculator. You're going to get x squared is equal to 91.57. Okay, and then you take the square root of both sides, and you're going to get that x is equal to 9.6. Okay, I want you guys now to complete number 4. Okay, when you turn this in, one person's paper per group. Okay, make sure you have the 4th one done. Same idea that we just did in these previous 3 problems. Okay, for the next page, if you turn it, we have more of these problems, except there's a difference now, right? We have all 3 sides given, and I need to find this angle here. Okay, so this time I'm not finding a side, I'm finding an angle. Okay, now the setup does matter, remember, because we got to take the side with the opposite angle, or the angle with the opposite side, right? So because considering I'm finding this angle here and across from it is 7, it has to be 7 squared is equal to the sum of the other two squared, so 11 squared plus 12 squared, minus 2 times 11 times 12 times the cosine of x. Okay, now you're gonna figure out what these numbers are. 49 is equal to 121 plus 144 minus 2 times 11 times 12, you're going to get 264 times the cosine of x. Add these two, you're going to get 49 is equal to 121 plus 144, you get 265. 265 minus 264 cosine of x. You're going to subtract these two from both sides, right? Because I'm solving for cosine x, right? So I subtract 265 from both sides. And cancel out there. 49 minus 265, you're going to get negative 216. That's equal to negative 264 times cosine of x. Right? It's still negative here, right? So don't forget that sign right there. Now, again, because I'm solving for cosine x, now I have to divide both sides by negative 264. And they cancel out there. So I'm getting, and I'm going to move here to the right because I'm running out of space. I'm getting cosine x, this guy, is equal to whatever this guy is. You can put this in your calculator, okay? Negative 216 divided by negative 264, and I want you to use 4 decimal places. Point, and when you do that, you're going to get 0.8182. So cosine x is equal to this. Take the inverse cosine inverse of 0.8182. Make sure you're in degree mode. Okay, put that in your calculator, and you're going to find that x is equal to 35.1 degrees. Okay, that's it. Number 6. We'll do 2 more examples here. Same idea. Okay, x degrees. Here's the side opposite to x, so it's going to be this one what I start with. 35 squared is equal to the sum of the other 2 squared, 16 squared plus 24 squared, minus 2 times 16 times 24 times the cosine of x. 35 squared, you're going to get 12, 25, 16 squared, you get 256. 24 squared, you're going to get 576. Minus 2 times 16 times 24, you're going to get 768. Okay, times cosine of x. When you add those two up, you're going to get 12 to, made a mistake here, 1225 is equal to 832. Get 832 minus 768 times the cosine of x. Okay, subtract 832 from both sides. You're going to get 393. That's equal to negative 768 times the cosine of x. Then you divide both sides by negative 768. And you're going to get, again, input this in your calculator. Okay, you're going to get a negative number, right? Positive divided by a negative. So negative 0.5117. That's equal to cosine of x. Take the inverse cosine. So cosine inverse of negative 0.5117 equals to x. Okay, and then right here, when you put this in your calculator, you're going to get that x is equal to 120.8 degrees. Okay, one more. So here's my unknown angle. Here's the side opposite to it. So this is the one I start with. 21 squared is equal to the other 2 squared added, 16 squared plus 26 squared, minus 2 times 16 times 26 times the cosine of x. 21 squared, you're going to get 441. 16 squared is 256. 26 squared, you're going to get 676. And 2 times 16 times 26, you're going to get 832 times the cosine of x. When you add these two guys up, you're going to get 441 is equal to 932 minus 832 times the cosine of x. Subtract 932 from both sides. Okay, cancel out there. You're going to get 441 minus 939. You're going to get negative 491. That's equal to negative 832 times the cosine of x. Now you're going to divide both sides by negative 832. They cancel out there, and then put this in your calculator. Negative divided by a negative, you're going to get positive. So you're going to get and again 4 decimal places, right? So 0.5901 is equal to cosine of x. Take the inverse cosine inverse of 0.5901 equals to x. You're going to get that x is equal to 53.8 degrees. Okay, and that's it. I want you to also do number 8. Okay, 8 is a requirement, and so was number 4. Okay, so try to do those on your own, and then your assignment starts on the next page. Okay, it's 8 problems, I believe. Okay, this one will be due on Thursday, and then works the same way as law of sines. Okay, I'm going to collect 1 for each group, so make sure you're not falling behind. Okay, hold each other accountable.